Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas, reppin' 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens.
As always, I'm going to have Brendan, repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. We are going to talk the NBA. We're going to kind of get back to tradition of only talking either NBA or NHL once a week. So this week we are doing the NBA. We will cover the NHL next week.
Yes.
Obviously, the NFL as our first and major love. And then we will talk the World Cup as that is going on right now.
Yes. So we'll just get it started. Obviously, the NBA is done, so we'll just get into the breaking news as their free agency opened up. So we have a lot of extensions, trades, and new
Some
faces in
drama
different
with those
places.
trades.
Yes. So first of which was the Knicks and Jordan Clarkson agreed on a 1-year, $3.9 million deal to send him back to New York. Nothing major there, just a quick extension. Knicks bring back a key component to their championship run off the bench, so not a bad move for the Knicks.
No.
Next is Chris Middleton agreed a 3-year, $17.6 million deal with the Washington Wizards. This was a sign and trade. Now, it was like a 6-team trade that was useless as a 6-team trade. So really, he just kind of signed there. It didn't make a ton of sense, honestly. The NBA sometimes doesn't with their 6-team trades.
That's fair.
As part of the 6-team trade, and really the big part of it, the Detroit Pistons send Karis LeVert and 2 second-round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks for Taurean Prince and Gary Harris. That was really the big part of that trade. Everything else kind of didn't matter.
Milwaukee trying to kind of beef up after.
Trading away pretty much their best player. You add a couple more guys. Milwaukee's probably going to suck this year, but that's not the worst thing. It does not help that one of their players got punched in the face, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
That's not.
Next up is Kyle Lowry has announced his retirement. So congrats to him. Good career. NBA champion. Big time player. So congrats to him.
Good luck in your future endeavors.
Next is Donovan Mitchell has agreed a 4-year, $273 million maximum contract extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, big contract for Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, Cleveland did not have the playoffs they were hoping for, but he is going to stay in Cleveland.
Congratulations to him. Hopefully, this works out for them.
Yeah. Next, the Jazz signed Josh Okogie to a 2-year, $12 million deal. The Jazz kind of in a rebuild, just trying to fill out a roster, keep it cheap and bad, pretty much. Not that Okogie is a bad player, but their roster is rough. But I think they're looking at young talent, trying to rebuild. They've been doing a decent job with that in the draft, so we'll see if that continues. Next, the Los Angeles Clippers have signed Rui Hachimura to a 2-year, $28 million deal. So Rui going from one Los Angeles team to the other. Another decent player, probably going to replace Kawhi Leonard. However, that trade hasn't gone through yet, as they are still investigating the Clippers for how they handled that situation. And the Raptors will not complete the trade until that investigation's over, from my understanding. So,
I think that is what the Raptors announced yesterday or today.
So I'm going with the assumption that it's going to go through still, just because I don't think they're going to find anything that's going to change this. But there is a chance that there's a Max Crosby situation and the trade doesn't go through.
Or the Raptors go, yeah, we'll still trade for him, but maybe not as much as they had originally intended to.
That.
Especially if he faces a suspension.
That. Next is the Memphis Grizzlies have signed center Quinton Post to a 3-year, $30 million offer sheet. Now, for those of you that don't know what an offer sheet is, it is they offer you the contract. The other team has the chance to match it. If they don't match it, depending on the size of the contract, you might have to send picks the other way. I don't think this contract lies in a huge pick. It's probably a second rounder, from my understanding. I am not the most well versed in restricted free agency for the NBA, so I could be wrong. But the Grizzlies do have a chance to match this, or the Golden State Warriors do have a chance to match the contract given by the Grizzlies in order to keep Quinton Post. So we'll see if they do that.
I would think probably not, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. The New York Knicks have signed Andre Drummond to a 1-year, $3.9 million deal. He's going to come in and replace Miles Robinson, who they lost in free agency. Just another depth center for them off the bench. Nothing major there. Next is the Lakers have traded DeAndre Ayton to the Washington Wizards for Jaden Hardy and 2 second-round picks, 2031 and 2032. DeAndre Ayton didn't really work out with the Lakers. Shock. Wouldn't have thought that. But maybe he'll work out with the Wizards. Probably not. The Wizards are just kind of a bad team. So again, they bring in a vet, someone that can just be there while they get some of these younger guys up to speed. I would expect the Wizards to be picking right back near the top this year. Obviously, they had the number 1 overall pick in this draft. To replace DeAndre Ayton, the Lakers acquired Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz for 2 first-round picks and 2 first-round pick swaps, and then signed Walker Kessler to a 4-year, $130 million deal. He's better than DeAndre Ayton. He's still not one of the premier centers in the NBA, but they are at least attempting to add a viable center around Luka Doncic. So,
something they desperately need.
Overall, big upgrade there from the Lakers for not that much capital. So well done. The Houston Rockets dump Dorian Finney-Smith to the Charlotte Hornets. This is purely a cap dump because the Rockets are also sending 3 second-round picks to the Hornets for them to take his contract. So, big cap dump there from the Rockets. The Hornets have all the cap space in the world now after trading LaMelo Ball. So, they're willing to do that, add some picks for the future. Pretty decent move, in my opinion, for the Hornets.
Yeah, clean up your cap space, start rebuilding, but make sure you have the ability to do that.
Yes. Next is the Boston Celtics have agreed a 4-year, $56 million extension with Neemias Queta. Just a depth piece for the Boston Celtics. Backup center minutes. We'll kind of see if he takes a step forward, becomes the team's starting center this year. They did sign Miles Robinson to be the backup from the Knicks, so we'll kind of see what happens there. Next is Tari Eason has agreed a 5-year, $81.5 million extension to stay with the Houston Rockets. The Rockets still building a solid team. Eason was a pretty big part of that, so he gets rewarded with a decent extension.
Nice.
Next is the San Antonio Spurs have agreed a 2-year, $31 million deal for Tobias Harris. So Tobias Harris goes from Detroit to San Antonio. Will add a really good depth piece to the Spurs, another vet on that team. Obviously, we talked a lot about them being a very young team in the playoffs. To me, this move is just to add a ton of veteran experience, try to, strengthen that team with a vet. And I think they're doing a good job there with this move. We have a big trade. The Boston Celtics have traded Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. This is really all you can get for Jaylen Brown. Is an older Paul George and picks. Not sure I love the move for Boston. Love the move for the 76ers.
I think it's a great move for the 76ers. I think it's a great move. There were debates about who the number one was. Was it Tatum or Brown? Obviously, Brown was their NBA championship MVP. And that's the best you can do.
Even if you felt that Brown was your second best player. Getting an older,
Paul George,
worse in the playoffs,
to the 76ers as a number one, though.
Yeah. And again, you get an older, less playoff proven Paul George and future picks. I'm not seeing the vision, especially trading him in division and in conference.
Yeah.
It's one thing.
If you're going to trade in division, in conference, you should be getting a hell of a lot more. If you traded him out of conference,
if you traded him,
okay, maybe
to the Nuggets or to the Lakers or to one of the teams out in the Western Conference, then maybe I would understand this. But again, you're trading him to a rival, and you're getting Paul George and picks. I don't think Paul George helps you win another championship. And those picks definitely don't help because they're future picks. They're 20, 30 picks.
Oh my god.
So this doesn't help you win now. And it doesn't help you win in the future, really, either.
Well, and you've helped your rival win, which is going to make it even harder for you. So this doesn't seem very smart.
Yeah, I don't love this trade from the Celtics. Again, I think the Sixers did really well in this trade. Yeah. I think a Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid-led team, assuming Embiid stays healthy, which is a big if, but even if he doesn't now, having Maxey and Jaylen Brown, I think, does alleviate some of the pressure there. So, very interesting. Kind of see how it goes for both teams. But a lot of questions to ask about the Boston front office, because that's interesting.
Yeah.
Still did better than the Mavs trading Luka.
Still did better, but I'm still just confused.
Yeah.
Still confused.
And then the last bit of news in the NBA is pretty big, and that is the San Antonio Spurs have agreed a 5-year, $252 million maximum rookie scale contract extension with Victor Wembanyama. So a huge contract for Wemby, and he left money on the table. He took 25% instead of the 30% maximum contract, Supermax contract. So Wemby leaves some money on the table, decides that maybe taking less money makes it easier to build a team around you. Wow. Novel concept. So
not wrong.
Very interesting. Very interesting from Wemby, but still a huge contract, so congrats to him.
Yeah, huge contract. I think he earned it. I think there's still a lot he does need to get better on. He is very young, but I think he has earned this contract and had one of the, had a great season. Defense Player of the Year, was in the NBA Finals. That the contract years are the years to do that, honestly, from a business perspective.
I
And I give him credit as a young rookie, leaving money on the table. I have a lot of respect for that, of realizing, hey, if I take the max, it might be harder to get back to the finals.
Yeah, especially when you consider how young their team is and that they're going to have to pay pretty much everybody around the same time. It does get difficult. So even if he takes 5% less than the maximum, that's a big deal. Because I want to say the max contract had a value of $303 million.
Damn.
He left $50 million on the table. That's somebody else's contract, if you think about it.
That'll pay for someone else.
So that's a big deal. So congrats to him still. It is kind of interesting to see, though, a younger player take less than the maximum. Because he could have easily asked for the max, and they would have given him the max. Like, it just would have happened. So, pretty cool to see that.
No, it's great. I have a lot of respect for it, especially at his age. A lot of guys, especially for their first contract, they chase that larger number to say, nah, I'll take less. A lot of respect for that.
Yeah. So
it's still generational wealth, still a fuck ton of money, but it leaves them a little room.
Yes. And I think that does it for the NBA.
Alrighty. Well, a lot of exciting things. Like you said, it's kind of their free agency time. But we will talk about them some more in about 2 weeks. In the meantime, we will move on to the NFL.
Which is just so far into their dead period. For those of you that don't know, after mini camps and in between training camp, so that like 6 week-ish span, nothing happens. That is when players and coaches get time off. So there is zero breaking news for the NFL that I could find beyond some things about Terrion Arnold that aren't worth sharing currently. Because there's nothing new on his current status with the legal trouble. So, beyond that, there is no breaking news for the NFL for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So we'll go straight to the Ravens.
Sounds good. There is no news.
Nice.
Look, here's the thing. I had wanted a couple pieces of news in this time period, and the longer I have to wait, the more concerned I get with not having Lamar's new contract. Kind of think it's not happening this year. That concerns me. It also doesn't. We shall see. The only... No, I'm not going there. I'm not doing it. So there's no news. I eagerly await training camp, which is in August.
Nice.
Nothing is happening. I think the only thing, as a Ravens fan, we are waiting on is Lamar Jackson's contract and Zay Flowers' contract.
Okay. So you are waiting on a couple things, but...
I'm waiting on some things. They have not happened. And as far as I know, there are currently no updates on either.
That's fun. Well...
It's not.
I guess we'll just go to the Seahawks, where there's a little bit more news, but that's just because there was zero news. We at least have a couple things to talk about with the Seahawks. Mainly because they have narrowed down, as of now, there are 2 front runners in the sale of the Seahawks. what's sad is we've talked about them before, and it's the same two groups that have been mentioned over and over and over again. So we'll just get into it real quick. The two front runners. One group is the Aditya Mittal and Wick Grossbeck. Those are both. Mittal is the current minority owner of the Celtics. Wick Grossbeck was the former owner of the Celtics, ex-Celtics governor. So they're leading the way, along with the other one being the group led by Vinod Khosla, who is a minority investor in the 49ers. So I think everyone knows my pick of these two. I don't know if I have to say that out loud, but I will. If we get purchased by a 49ers partial owner, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
I would hate that so much. I understand that he'd have to sell his shares in the 49ers. I still don't want that. So if I had to pick, I would take the Celtics group. I think I've said that before when we only knew these groups existed. So currently, that's what I'm hoping for. There are other things saying that there are still potential other candidates out there. At this point, if your name isn't out there, I don't think they're buying it. It's just one of those things that, unless they're really good at keeping themselves out of it until the very end, I don't see that happening. It's possible, but I would say that one of these two ownership groups will buy the Seahawks. Other side note, in the reporting of this, they did say that there is a former Seahawk involved in one of these two groups. They did not say which group, and they did not say which former Seahawk.
That's wildly unhelpful.
I have two theories. Theory one is it's Bobby Wagner as part of the Celtics ownership. And the reason I say Bobby is he is very much into buying sports teams. He owns part of the Sounders, the Storm, a lot of the Seattle area teams. I think he even owns some of another team outside of Seattle. He has a great ownership mind. That is what he studied at the University of Utah State. And obviously, he's coming towards the end of his career. It does not seem like he's going to sign anywhere this offseason, so he might call it a career and step into a ownership role. I could see that happening. The other one I could see is Richard Sherman joining the Vinod Khosla one. Obviously, they have familiarity, both being with the 49ers organization. There's a level that you would think that this guy trying to buy the Seahawks would bring in a former Seahawk, a big name former Seahawk, to help, drive excitement for his purchase of the team. So that's my theory. I have zero proof behind that. That is just a guess.
It's a solid guess.
Other names to keep out there, Cam Chancellor would be another one I would think could be involved, but we'll kind of wait and see. Again, very little information, but this is what we're running with. Based on the timeline, we are going to see a sale prior to the NFL season. Not sure I'm a fan of this, but it is what it is. It's going to make Hard Knocks very interesting, as this will be probably a key talking point throughout most of Hard Knocks.
Probably.
Just based on the timing. The next thing we'll talk about is a analyst and the blatant disrespect. Blatant disrespect of the Seahawks. So the NFL Network does this quite often, where they'll predict teams' records way too early.
Yeah.
Predicting records is a shit show. You rarely ever get it right. You're normally trying to shoot for a bucket. And most analysts had the Seahawks in a 10 to 14 win bucket, which I think is a perfectly fair place to have them.
Yeah.
Like, anywhere between the 10 and 14 wins is feasible. Obviously, they had 14 last year, but harder, much more difficult schedule, difficult division. I could see them winning 10 to 14 games.
Okay.
Bucky Brooks had them going 7-10. 7-10.
Yeah.
Okay. His reasoning, he went on a Seattle talk show to defend his take, which I respect. Anyone that will willingly go out and defend their take earns my respect.
Staying 10 toes down.
Earns my respect. Because you know what? Like, the people that just say it to say it, I put zero stock in. I don't care. Whatever. He went in to defend his take. His reasonings were he feels that the team is too young to come off of a Super Bowl win. He feels that they lack discipline to come off a Super Bowl win. He doesn't like that they have a first-year offense coordinator replacing Clint Kubiak, who he thinks is a top play caller. There were some other reasons. He doesn't feel that Sam Darnold is a elite quarterback, and that he doesn't feel that the Seahawks have enough continuity, is how I'll put it. He's afraid that they lost too much in free agency. Most of that is wrong. Most of that is just flat out incorrect. When you look at Super Bowl champions in the last, I want to say 20 years, the Seahawks rank second in the amount of snaps they are returning to the team. The only Super Bowl champion ahead of them was the Buccaneers when they had Tom Brady. Only one. I want to say they lost like 13% of their snaps to free agency. The Buccaneers lost like 12. Just to put it in perspective, that, yeah, the Seahawks lost some key players. But they also kept the vast majority of them.
Yeah.
All right, on to the coordinator. You're correct. It is a first play calling experience coordinator. Ryan Fleury's never done this before. It's very different. Comes from the Shanahan tree. We'll see. But we're acting like Clint Kubiak was a wildly popular pick when he was selected, when he was hired. He did have play calling experience, but let's be honest. When Kubiak was hired, no one else wanted it. The Seahawks were one of the only teams that you heard in the Clint Kubiak running. And it was not wildly yeah, that's going to make them a Super Bowl winning team.
Yeah.
And even with that, in the first few weeks, Kubiak was not very good. He was pretty much the reason they lost week one. His game plan in week one was awful. For those of you that don't remember, they lost week one to the 49ers because their play calling was super conservative. The whole week. The whole game, I mean. A lot of screens, no play action, no under center. Zero of what the Seahawks were actually good at throughout the whole year on offense in that first game. All right. Throughout the rest of the year, he did get better. There were still some issues, especially with some of the play calls, some of the trick plays, some of the weird formation stuff. There were issues. Overall, he was a good play caller. But we're acting like the Seahawks lost prime Ben Johnson or prime Sean McVay. They did.
Yeah.
Flat out, they did it. We'll see. That is a room for pause. I will give you that with a inexperienced play caller. Sure, fine. Sam Darnold not being elite, whatever. We've already talked about where I'm at with that. If you feel that way, you feel that way. Whatever. And then the whole not returning key players. And what he said was the whole offense was revolved around JSN. In the first 10 weeks, sure, you might be right. After week 10, JSN was kind of slowed down, and the rest of the team got better. The run game got better. The offensive line got better. You saw Cooper Kupp in the playoffs. Cooper Kupp was the leading receiver for the Seahawks in the playoffs. He's still on the team. Rashid Shaheed, a mid-year acquisition, did not get the targets I think anyone was expecting. But guess what? Most wide receivers that join mid-year don't. It takes a lot of time for wide receivers and quarterbacks to truly get on the same page. He's back this year with a full offseason with Sam Darnold. Are you telling me you don't expect him to take a step forward? we saw what he can do with the Saints when he was with the quarterback for multiple years. He looked like a decent deep threat. And he still has the special teams capability. So I disagree with that. And then the last thing is how you have a team with the best defense in the league last year, which the defense alone has, I think, their floor at 9 wins. With that defense by itself, even if the offense is mediocre, not great, barely functioning, that defense will will you to 9 wins. How are you getting to 7? I understand they play in a tough division. I understand that they have a first place schedule. But no part of this team currently should tell you that they are going to regress to 7 wins. None. The only way that happens is injuries. And guess what? That is the same for every team in the NFL. If Matthew Stafford and Myles Garrett and Puka Nacua all got hurt, the Rams win 5 games next year. If that. So sure, if the Seahawks have major injuries, they'll win 5 to 7 games. That's not something you can predict. And I'm never going to predict injuries. So I just think it's completely disrespectful. And quite frankly, I don't know if we've had a Super Bowl champion in the last 10 years that has been this disrespected throughout the whole offseason. From the quarterback to the team itself to some of the things about the head coach to just the whole thing. I don't know if we've had a team that's won the Super Bowl, was this dominant on the way to win a Super Bowl, be this disrespected. So, I'm starting to be annoyed.
That's fair. I flatly disagree. I think to say a Super Bowl champion that is returning with the level of continuity that they are, because I do think it is a significant amount. And I think their losses are reasonable and expected of a Super Bowl champion. To assume they will go less than 500 is outrageous. I think to then assume they will or to guess that they're going to have a losing record is outrageous. Most winning teams in the NFL. I apologize that I do not have the stat. But I think in the last 50 years, only a handful then turned around and had a losing season.
And a lot of times it was because of major injuries.
Because you played more games. Those things happen. But this is disrespectful.
Okay. I actually have the actual numbers. Super Bowl winners, percentage of snaps lost. In the last, I want to say this is since 2010. Tampa Bay was first with 3.75%. So they were wildly above. The Seahawks lost 12.32% of their snaps. For reference, the 2013 Seahawks team that then went back to the Super Bowl the following year lost 26.4%, more than double the percentage than this team. And they went back to the Super Bowl the next year. Like, you cannot argue, yes, they lost some key contributors. But we rarely see Super Bowl champions stay this intact in terms of snaps played. Especially at key positions. Because, yeah, they lost a corner. They lost a running back. They lost an edge player. And they lost a safety. 2 of the 4 of those positions are considered not priority positions, not high-level positions. Running back and safety are not prioritized in the NFL. They are not given the same money, not given the same, I'm trying to think of the prestige as edge and corner. So why are we acting like this team lost a quarterback or this team lost a big-time wide receiver or something like that? Because they didn't.
Okay. In the last 50 years, I went back 50 years, 6 teams won the Super Bowl and then went below 500. Ready for that list?
I know one of them.
In what?
I know one of them off the top of my head.
In 1968, the Green Bay Packers had a losing record following their Super Bowl win. They went 6-7-1. In 1981, the Oakland Raiders had a season of 7-9. In 1982, the San Francisco 49ers went 3-6 in a strike-shortened season. In 1987, the New York Giants went 6-9. In 1999, the Denver Broncos went 6-10.
Following Elway's retirement.
Yep. And in 2022, the LA Rams went 5-12.
Following Matthew Stafford getting hurt.
Yep.
I thought the Broncos, after they won their Super Bowl in 2015, had a losing record the following season.
So they went 9-8. Or I'm sorry, 9-7.
Ah.
But they missed the playoffs.
Okay. I thought
but they did go 9-7.
I thought they sucked that following year, so I was wrong. I knew.
And then, hold on. The only other one, because I don't think it says. Yeah, no. So, those are the last 50 years.
Yeah. Like, again, you can say that they'll regress down to less than 14 wins. But if you're saying less than 10, I struggle. Like, I could see 9 wins, but honestly, even that is low. But 7?
That's outrageous.
Because here's the thing. Even if their division is the best in football, and you have to play the 49ers and Rams twice a year, you also get to play the Cardinals twice a year, which is one of the worst teams in football. So that's, I'm not going to say 2 wins, but that's pretty much 2 wins. Let's say you split the 49ers and the Rams, which is what happened last year. You're on 4 wins in 6 games. Okay? Are you telling me that you can't beat 4 more teams out of your other 11 games? Let me pull up the Seahawks schedule.
There are only 11 teams ever that failed to post a winning record after winning a Super Bowl, and 2 of those teams tied. They went 8-8.
Yeah. Okay. Next season, as we said, let's just assume they sweep the Cardinals let's just assume they split every divisional series. That's 3 wins out of 6.
Yeah.
Week 1 against the Patriots. We just watched that game. Not much has changed. Yeah. So that's 4. Week 2 against the Cardinals, we'll say that one they lose. So we'll say they lose Cardinals. Commanders completely destroyed them last season. Probably not much has changed there. So that's another one. So what? That's 4? No, that's 5 wins. Let's say you lose to the Chargers. The Chargers are a good team. Say you lose that one. Broncos. Say you lose that one too. Just to see. Just put it out there. We'll see if Bo Nix is back by then. But let's say you lose that one. You're at 5 wins. let's say you beat the Chiefs, you beat the Raiders, you beat the Giants, you beat the Panthers. That's 7 already.
That's 8.
8. Are you telling me that they're going to lose to the Cowboys, Bears, Eagles? Like, maybe one of those. But I also think they beat the Broncos, quite truthfully. But I'll chalk it up as a loss. Like, this isn't a 7-win team.
No.
And again, that's assuming they split with the Cardinals. This Cardinals team is going to suck. Do you really think Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew is going to beat this defense? Shit, we saw it last year. The Seahawks dismantled Jacoby Brissett. Dismantled him.
Yeah.
They won that game like 44-20. And those 20 points came in garbage time in the fourth quarter. Like, what are we talking about?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't know. Again, I don't get it. I don't get why this Seahawks team is like worse than any other Super Bowl champion since the dawn of time. I don't get it. But I feel like there's been one other Super Bowl champion that was talked about this way, and it was the Denver Broncos when Peyton Manning retired. And you know what? That at least had the excuse of Peyton Manning retiring.
Yeah. And they still went 9-8.
So
9-7. Goddamn.
yeah, that was still when they had 16.
Yeah, and that's
So
like,
just the Eagles
with
like
Brock Osweiler.
All right,
That's quarterback, by the way.
let me also put it this way: this year's Seahawks and last year's Eagles are pretty much the exact same football team, other than the Seahawks are a little bit younger, and I would say have more blue chip talent across the board. But you can pretty much sit there and tell me they won the same way. You had a quarterback that didn't make a ton of mistakes, or that had turnover issues, but in the playoffs did not make a ton of mistakes. You had a running back that was super explosive. Now, K9 is not Saquon Barkley. But you had
Saquon Barkley was pretty well bottled up in the Super Bowl, and K9 went the fuck off.
Yeah. But you had explosive running backs that were very big, and the run game was very big. Offensive lines that dominated when they had to. Young offensive lines. Well-developed offensive lines. Homegrown offensive lines. Wide receivers. You had 2 good wide receivers. Good special teams. Defenses that were built in the trenches. The thing with the Eagles when they won, had the best defensive line in football. You could argue the Seahawks had the same. The difference is then you look at the Eagles the following season, who did they lose after the Super Bowl? Milton Williams. Defensive lineman. Oh, God, who's the edge rusher they lost? I cannot remember his name. Sweat, I think. Yeah. Josh Sweat. Either way, they lost key contributors on the defensive line. They lost key contributors elsewhere on the field. That is the one thing the Seahawks didn't lose. They prioritized the trenches, and they kept the trenches. That is where they're at. So you can even say that they are better set going into next year based on that. But otherwise, they're the same team. And everybody was high on the Eagles following their Super Bowl. They had questions about Hurts, sure. But they were still high on the Eagles coming off the Super Bowl. What changed?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. The Seahawks team is not fun to talk about. They're in the Pacific Northwest. They're so far away. East Coast media doesn't care. And that's fine. Whatever. Then just don't talk about them. If you're not going to take the time and the effort to research them, don't talk about them.
Yeah. Like, if the only thing you can come up with to say is idiotic bullshit, don't say anything.
Because I would prefer it. I would prefer you just not talk about my team. I don't give a shit. Like, if you want to focus on the Patriots for the next however long, fuck it, go ahead. If you want to focus on the Eagles, go ahead. If you want to focus on the Ravens, go ahead. I don't give a shit. Focus on the East Coast. Or if you're going to focus on us, do your goddamn research.
It's valid. It's valid.
That's my rant over.
It's fair. I respect it. Impressive that they can get 2 rants out of you in 2 weeks. So that's something. I do believe that does it for us for the NFL, though.
It does.
Then we will move on to the world of soccer, football, and the World Cup, who are now in the quarterfinals.
Yes, and I cannot remember where we left off in the previous round, so we're just going to go to the round of 16 and act like we covered everything, which I know is not true. I just can't remember where we left off.
I thought we had. I thought we went through. No, we did, because you did a whole list on. Oh, we didn't do the round of 32.
We did most of the round of 32. I just can't remember what teams we didn't get to because they hadn't played yet.
That's fair.
But we'll just skip it, and we'll just go, and you'll figure it out as we go.
Okay.
All right. Round of 16. First game up, we had Paraguay, France. Obviously, the French team, one of the favorites, get the win 1-0 after kind of a late bit of drama there in this game. I feel like France was the better team most of the day. Paraguay had some bullshit going on. I'm going to be frank with you.
Yeah.
Not a great showing from them. But France got the win. So they're moving on.
Yep.
Next game was Canada-Morocco. Close in the first half.
This one was rough.
Not so much in the second. Canada got blown out 3-0. Again, first half was tied 0-0. You were feeling good about Canada, and then Morocco woke up and realized they were the better team and kind of kicked Canada's ass in the second half.
Yes, they did.
Next game was another really good, really close game, and that was Spain-Portugal. Spain wins 1-0 after a very late game winner. This game was tied very late. Some questions need to be asked about what Portugal's manager was doing. In my opinion, watching this game, the Portugal manager, Portugal coach, was just trying to get to the extra time, and every move he made was with the assumption they were going to get there. And the problem doing that is once you don't, once a goal scored, once Spain took that lead, they were fucked. You relied way too much on Ronaldo, which, for anyone wondering, is not great in the knockout stage. Has one career knockout stage goal, and it was a penalty kick. Scored this year, actually, in the round previous.
Yep.
So that's rough. Relied way too heavy on him. Did not sub him off early enough. Didn't sub him off at all. Did not plan for what if Spain scores. They were just dead set on making it to extra time. Failed to do so. Spain got the late winner. So congrats to Spain. Moving on.
This, for me, I was rooting for Portugal. I didn't think it was the most likely, but it is what I was rooting for. I did want Ronaldo to get a World Cup. This was kind of heartbreaking for me. Ronaldo's face at the end was kind of a tearjerker. Ronaldo is 41. Still talented, but has been the entire weight of the Portugal team for his entire career. He has no help. He's never had much help, and he's never had much of a supporting cast. So I am not surprised at this, but when the number one person you are relying on is 41 years old and a little tired, this probably was not the best plan of action.
No, probably not.
I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy the way that ended. I don't think it was done the most intelligently. And
no, there's a lot of questions to be asked of how Portugal went about that ending.
So,
and again, it's tough. This was Ronaldo's last chance at it.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
Otherwise, great career. He's just missing one of the most important trophies in soccer. And that's unfortunate to say.
Just a small thing.
But he's won everywhere else. He still goes down as one of the greatest of all time. If this is truly the end of his international career, it was a hell of a run. But unfortunate way to go out.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of unfortunate ways to go out, the last host was also eliminated. So every host has been eliminated. Oh, we haven't talked about Mexico, but spoiler alert, they were eliminated too. All three in the round of 16. The United States lost 4-1 to Belgium in what was just pure domination, truth be told. Even when the U.S. had a chance. Belgium takes the early lead. The U.S. ties the game up on what was a really good free kick. And you thought the momentum was going to swing. And the home fans were going to take over. And it was going to, maybe be a closer game. And then 2 minutes later, Belgium scores again to take the lead. And at that point, you're like, all right, you came back once. You got halftime in between. There's a chance. And then the United States goalkeeper decided to pull the dumbest move I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
The craziest thing.
And for reference, by the way, I played goalie when I was growing up. That's my position in soccer. That's what I played. Loved it. Rule number 1 when playing goalie is if you come out of your box, you best boot that fucking ball about as far as you possibly fucking can.
Yeah.
For him to make the right decision. Because in that scenario, the right decision is coming out of your box to get the ball. But if you're gonna do it, you better do it right. And it started off well. Takes a really good first touch, off the chest, ball lands right at his feet, and somehow kicks the fucking turf. And in that moment, I'm watching it going, what the actual fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Because the ball just immediately then ends up in the back of the net. And there's nothing you can do about it at that point. It's over.
Yeah.
And once that goal went in, it was over. Any chance the U.S. had of coming back, gone. Not necessarily because they were down by 2, but because of how they went down by 2.
Yeah.
So, and then Belgium scored a late third that really didn't matter. The game was pretty much already over. But genuinely, this is a very disappointing thing. The U.S., I thought, had a good tournament for what they are. But I do think there are still significant flaws in how the U.S. does things. And it'll never change until they change fundamentally how the sport is run and how the sport is played here in the United States. Because we're the only country in the world that you have to pay to play when you're young. And that is the reason the United States will never be good at this sport and will never compete at an international level. So,
that's unfortunate.
Disappointing result, but hopefully, fingers crossed that because this happened on home turf and because the nation was watching, that maybe there's changes in the future to how the U.S. does this and how the U.S. treats soccer. That's really the only hope at this point.
We can hope.
We can indeed. On the other side of the bracket, Norway beat Brazil 2-1 in what was kind of a bigger upset. Brazil, one of the favorites of this tournament, knocked out by kind of a lesser team. Obviously, Holland, Norway's best player, one of the best young players in the world, has been just incredible this whole tournament and really willed. It has been really willing Norway to a lot of these wins, including this one, in which he scored both goals in the 2-1 win. So that he's been amazing. So keep it up. Norway's a fun one to watch right now, just because they are a bit of an underdog for what's left in this tournament, and they have seriously one of the best players in the world, if not the best at this point.
Yeah.
I think we're quickly running into a three-way tie for who's currently the best in the world, and he is right there for that currently. So pretty amazing there.
He's been phenomenal. He's been a lot of fun to watch. I don't think he's had quite maybe the pressure, the expectation that some of the other big names have had, but he's taking it with a lot of grace, and he's kind of proving to the world that he should be, and he should be looked at in the same light. And I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching him play. Kind of I don't want to say an underdog, but almost to be rooting for right now.
Well, when you look at who's left, they're the lowest ranked team that's left. They're 31st, according to FIFA.
Yeah.
That's
so
the lowest left, other than Switzerland, I believe. Nope, Switzerland is ranked 19th. So they are the lowest ranked team left.
They are, in fact, an underdog.
So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But continuing, England, Mexico. England won 3-2 in what was one of the best games of the tournament. Back and forth. England playing with 10 men for a good majority of that game after a red card. Mexico scoring some really good goals. England scoring some good goals. Overall, just a really good match. One of the best of the tournament.
It was a great game.
But that does do it for the host nations. So no host is making it. No host made it out of the round of 16. So kind of unfortunate there. But good showings from all the hosts for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, the England-Mexico game was really great, really close. Kind of could have gone either way. Both teams fought really hard. Mexico doesn't lose in the Azteca very often.
Yeah.
So the energy they brought, I think it was the best showing in the round of 16 of the hosts by far.
Against probably the best team any host faced.
Probably one of the best teams. So a lot of credit to them and to what they did.
Yeah.
And I think to helping host a great World Cup. It's been a lot of fun, and unfortunate to see all three of them go out, but we appreciate the work they've done as hosts.
Yes. Well said. Next up was probably the most boring game of the round of 16, and that was Switzerland-Colombia, which went to penalty kicks, tied 0-0.
0-0.
Just snooze fest all around. Penalty kicks. Obviously a stressful situation. Switzerland won the penalty kicks 4-3. They only missed one compared to Colombia missing two. So congrats to Switzerland on advancing.
Yeah. So I feel like what you had this World Cup was you had the superstars, right? The Messis, the Ronaldos, the Mbappes, hell, even Holland. Like, you had them, And then you had the underdogs that everyone was kind of excited for. Everyone got really jazzed about. We were seeing those people travel. A lot of fun. And then in
Yeah.
the middle,
You have this.
you have Switzerland, Colombia, where like Switzerland really cared and Colombia really cared, and nobody else. And it was the game matched that energy.
Yeah.
It was like we're just here.
It was
We're just
definitely
here.
a interesting match. Because, yeah, it was pretty boring. Didn't get to watch a lot of it, thankfully. Watch the penalties. That's all you really needed to watch of that game.
Yeah.
Told.
The
But
only thing that was important. I watched the whole damn thing. I watched
yeah, that's tough. That's
all
tough.
120 minutes plus penalties.
That's tough. That's tough. That's rough. Would not wish that. If it makes you feel better, the next game was another one of the best games of the tournament, as Argentina beat Egypt 3-2 after coming back from 2 goals down. Big comeback from Argentina. Did not look like the best game, but it mattered most. Messi comes up with a goal and an assist to get that game tied up, and then they win it in the 92nd minute. So congrats to Argentina. Egypt, nice try, but next time, try to finish the game out. Don't slip up in the last 10 minutes of the game, because that's what they did. This comeback started in the 79th minute, so really the last 11 minutes of regular time plus whatever left of stoppage. So that's tough.
I'm going to say this as someone that understands, has a fundamental understanding of a lot of sports. I am a big fan of several, and I spend a great deal of time watching sports, not only as a fan, but in an analytical mindset. I know that there have been complaints about the refereeing. I'm aware of that. Welcome to sports.
Yeah.
As a player, being pissed off at the things that are or are not called being more important than the game you're playing will always lose you the match.
Yes.
Always. You can think what you like. I have seen many reports, many different opinions on the potential foul on Mo Salah. You can do what you like with it. Refs miss things. VAR will miss things.
And VAR has been kind of useless, but that's nothing new.
You have to keep playing.
Yes.
You have to keep playing.
There's no excuse for it being called back. The goal was called back. You then scored again. It wasn't like it got called back and then Argentina made their comeback. No, you scored, it got called back, you then scored again. You had the momentum, and you still lost the game.
You were too concerned complaining about the things you didn't get that you wanted. And you will never win caring more about the refs or the calls than the game.
Especially when it all equaled out in the end and you scored.
Yeah.
At that point, it should have been done, and you should have just gone on playing.
So.
But, again, it was a good comeback from Argentina. I do think Egypt...
It was a great comeback.
I do think Egypt had, again, a moment of they want that one back, but you're not getting it back.
No.
So, it's tough. But that does it for the round of 16. 2 games of the round of 8. The quarterfinals have been played. So we'll get into those 2 real quick. And then the next 2 are tomorrow. So first of which was France, Morocco. France got the win 2-0. Mbappe scoring one and Dembele scoring one. Morocco's a good team. This France team is just incredible.
Yeah.
Just to put it simply, one of the favorites to win. It's been pretty obvious this whole tournament. Mbappe's insane. That team's insane. Morocco had a good run. They normally do come tournament time. They're one of those weird teams that you don't think about, but then come tournament time, they surprise a lot of people, win a bunch of games, have good showings. They did that again this year, but I think France was just a bit too much for them.
Yeah.
And then the next game that was played today was Spain Belgium. Spain got the win 2-1. Another really good game. The game was tied for most of it, tied after the first half, but Spain does get a pretty late winner from Marino. So that's pretty cool.
Belgium does get to leave with the honor of the first team to get a goal on Spain. So
yes, that is
while
true.
you didn't win, it is a pretty big accomplishment.
It is a moral victory that you scored on Spain.
You do get to walk away with that. I do want to comment on one thing.
Okay.
Because I noticed it again today watching Spain-Belgium. Soccer announcers have this tendency to, I feel like, get ahead of themselves sometimes.
Okay.
It did work out that way. But when Spain scored, the announcer's like, they've won! And I'm like, there's still like 10 minutes left in the game. Like, maybe let's calm down. Like they did win. That was the end of it. But you don't know that in that moment.
I think most announcers play the odds, essentially. And odds are, when you score in the 88th minute, you're going to win. That does not leave a ton of time. But I do agree. That is an issue.
They say it. They say it a lot. Because it happened. There was another game.
I have no idea.
I think it was Cape Verde.
The issue, I can't speak on this because I can't watch the English broadcast. I can only watch the Spanish broadcast because I don't have Fox. I only have Peacock, so I have to watch Telemundo. It's not unfortunate because honestly, it's kind of better.
Okay.
I don't have to listen to the stupid, or I don't understand the stupid from the English. All I understand is the important thing, and that's the word goal. And it's a little more fun. They're a little more excited.
That's fair.
It's interesting.
But
sometimes I'll listen to it on mute. But
there was another game. I think it was a Cape Verde game. I do not remember. Please don't quote me on that. But someone said it on a goal, and then the goal was called back. And I'm like, so see, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Was it? Maybe, no. I don't remember.
Like, it's just something they do.
They do a bunch. Like, I'm going to be honest. They do have that issue.
I just think you should work on that.
They will jump the gun a hair.
I'm not, you were right.
But what if...
But there was time.
Belgium scored.
Yeah, then you look like an idiot. What if that... Again, you said it. What if that goal had been called back? What if they were offsides?
Yeah, I mean...
let's just bring it down a hair. I love the energy, just a hair.
Yeah. But yeah, so congrats to Spain. Moving on. The two games tomorrow, we got England, Norway. Really looking forward to that one.
Be a great game.
Argentina, Switzerland. We'll kind of see what Switzerland can bring to that one. But really, tomorrow's main event is Norway, England. I do think that will be a very solid game. And then those two will decide who plays the winner of France and Spain for the final. So we're getting there. And that France-Spain game will also be very good once we get there. But got two more games to go first. So we're coming down the stretch. for the World Cup. Just a quick update on the Golden Boot race for leading scorer. Currently, it's a tie between Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi, both with 8. And then for those of you keeping track, all-time top scoring, Messi has 21, Mbappe has 20. Mbappe has played 2 less World Cups. I don't get it. He has 8 in the last 2. He has 16 in 2 World Cups combined. Mind you, the record before that was 16. The record before these two just broke it this year was 16. Mbappe has that in 2 World Cups.
Yep.
I don't get it. So yeah, they're tied currently though for this World Cup. Messi has the 1 goal lead, but I would not be surprised if Mbappe got past them this year. If not this year, it's definitely happening next World Cup.
I think it's going to come down to who wins.
Probably. If Messi gets knocked out prior to the final, Mbappe will take it. Assuming he makes it to the final.
At this point, I think that's where it's headed.
And then in terms of other players, also in the Golden Boot race, Haaland is on 7, and then Harry Kane is on 6. So those two still in it. But that's really where the race is at the moment. So it's been a great year for the stars. Mbappe, Messi, Haaland, Kane, all right there fighting for it. It's been pretty great.
It's been a great tournament. I've enjoyed watching it very much.
It's been one of the best. But I think that does it for this World Cup update.
Great. Well, then is there any other random sports news?
Yes. And if you thought I was done ranting, guess what?
Oh no. Here we go.
Here we go again. Y'all. This has very little to do with actual sports, by the way. Just want to put that out there. It has to do with gaming. For those of you that maybe enjoy sports and enjoy gaming, you would know that EA pretty much controls sports video games. They have every sport beyond 2. They don't have baseball and they don't have NBA. Those are the only 2 sports that EA doesn't have. Recently, EA released College Football 27. So the newest iteration of college football. This was after college football was on hiatus for multiple years. They finally brought it back in 2025. So we finally got the game back. This year, EA has made some decisions that are just complete and utter bullshit. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't own the game yet. And quite frankly, I'm probably not going to buy the game at this point. I was planning on it, but I don't buy games until after they go through the first set of patches. Because most video games nowadays aren't released finished, and buying it in the release date or in the first week is kind of a waste of time because they don't run very well and there's a lot of issues. So I tend to wait until later down the line when a lot of those issues are worked out. However, EA, as they always do, had their EA Summit. I don't know if that's actually what they call it, but that's what I'm going to call it. Where they invite a lot of content creators, they invite athletes, all these people to play the game for the first time, show off all of the gameplay, and then they'll do a whole thing about all the changes they made to the game. It was a 2-hour thing that they did about all the changes they added to the game. And this was for Madden and college football because they're kind of bundling it all together. Because Madden's going to release here soon. They did all this. They invited all these creators out. They were doing all these things for the offline game modes, which is Dynasty, which you can be the coach and you get to build your program, control your own program. You get to take over. Let's say you wanted to take over Alabama and you wanted to bring Alabama back to glory of being under Nick Saban. you can do that. You can get Alabama to win as many national championships as you want by recruiting, all that. It's just like build your team, essentially. That's Dynasty. And Road to Glory, which is you just playing throughout the college football, like your college football career. So 4 years, you get to pick a position, you get to play it out through your college football career. So that's Road to Glory and Dynasty, the two offline game modes. EA was showing off all these new additions to the offline game modes. On release day, they then added microtransactions to offline game modes. So you can now pay to improve your player and coach in those offline game modes. The issue with that is now the only way to max out your player or your coach is to pay for it. You can no longer get your player or coach to a 99 overall. You have to pay for it. It is pretty much impossible to do it otherwise. The issue I have with this is why is it in an offline game mode? You're not balancing anything. You're not keeping it from getting out of control. Who cares if I build a 99 overall running back? Who gives a shit if I have a 99 overall head coach and I win 30 national championships in a row?
Yeah.
I'm not affecting anybody else. So why is it that I cannot boot up the game and naturally earn a 99 overall just by playing? And mind you, they did not announce they were doing this until the release date. So in that whole 2-hour thing that they put together about all the changes, that wasn't included in the 2-hour presentation. When they gave the game to all these creators for them to make videos on it and for them to do promotion, that was not included. That was not part of the game yet. They added it afterwards. They are completely ruining sports video games. And it's EA. No one's that surprised by this. But it's stupid. And the problem is they pretty much have a monopoly on all the best sports video games.
Yeah.
They control football. They control soccer. They control the 3 biggest sports video games in the world. FIFA, NFL, and college football. They control all 3. Their only rivals are NBA 2K and MLB The Show. And even those have microtransactions. But at least they have the excuse that you can play with your player that you were trying to make a 99 overall. You can play online with that. NBA has a way for you to do that. So they do balance the game to try to make it more fair. They at least have that excuse. Yeah. MLB the same way. Madden and college football don't. There's no way to take that player that you just made and are trying to turn to a 99 overall and play online against somebody. Zero way. It is a purely offline game mode. And it's the best game mode in college football. That is why you have college football, is for the Dynasty mode. Is to build your own program. Is to rebuild some of the worst teams in college football and try to get them to a national championship. That's the most fun of that game. And they just ruined it. Just shot it in the head. While alienating their whole fan base. So
that's super shitty. Yeah.
If you like
don't
sports,
play it, but I take your word for it.
If you like sports video games, this is shitty. And it's only going to get worse because they're going to do it for every game from here on out, most likely. And I know that people have been protesting. I know all the content creators that play these games have been protesting. EA then put out a thing after all of this backlash, pretty much telling everyone to go fuck themselves. And that they won't be removing the payment, the microtransactions, the pay-to-play, and that is now just part of the game. And that they took out the other ways for it to be possible to make it to a 99 overall. Because they had ways last year for it to happen. You could change the settings of your game to earn XP faster. They took that out of the game. and added this in instead. So again, if you enjoy playing sports games, you're probably not going to much longer. Because clearly EA doesn't give a shit about the people that play their games. So that's nice. That makes me happy. Because those are some of my favorite games. And what I majority play is sports games. Just flush down the toilet. So that's nice.
Yeah, that's super shitty. Super shitty. I own one Madden game. But I know I do play video games. I know there are companies that are big fans of microtransactions. But to see that in games that kids grow up playing,
and
that fans are so invested in, is really shitty.
And for it to actually affect gameplay, because I get it. Ultimate Team and those games are naturally, you're going to spend money on it because you want packs, you want the best team possible. Fine, whatever. It's head-to-head. People want to be competitive. It's going to be paid to win.
Yeah.
My offline game mode should not be. I should be able to boot up college football, build a godly running back or a godly quarterback, get him to a 99 overall, and then just tear up the whole fucking game. I should be able to take Sam Houston or some unknown college that's like the worst in the game, and turn them into a powerhouse. Can't do that now. So what the fuck is the point? What's fun anymore about that game? So, it's disappointing. I'm not surprised. EA fucking sucks. So, if you enjoy our content and enjoy sports and enjoy video games, don't waste your time. Don't even bother. Save the... I want to say to get both Madden and college football, it was like $150.
Save that money.
Save that money. Just do yourself a favor. Because it's a waste. Especially if you're like me and you enjoy the offline game modes. So, that's my last rant. Again, didn't have a ton to do with sports, but...
Hey, it's our first video game rant. We're making progress as a podcast, I think.
I don't think we're going to get much more in terms of video games.
That's okay.
The sports video games I play are all going to shit.
Just went to shit. Just went to shit.
Because if they can get away with it on college football, then they're going to get away with it on Madden, and they're going to get away with it on FIFA.
Yeah.
So...
No, that's really unfortunate.
We can only hope that with the protests and with the... especially with content creators and the big ones that they invited out and then pulled the rug on, with them all complaining, maybe something gets done. But I doubt it. So, yeah. Hey everybody, really quickly, pretty much immediately after recording the podcast, EA put out a statement. It'll be on screen for you guys to read, but it essentially boils down to, they've listened to our feedback as a community. They've taken it. They're removing microtransactions from offline game modes. This is a big win for, I think, the gaming community and for the fans of EA. So that's really cool. Good on them for actually doing the right thing. As for what I've said, this statement pretty much makes it all irrelevant at this point. This is why I'm doing this quick voiceover. I'm leaving the rant in the video just because I think it's fun. But this statement does alleviate a lot of the worries I had with this game. That doesn't mean I'm necessarily still going to get it. Don't know yet. It is still an expensive game. We'll see how it plays in the coming weeks now that it's fully released. But I do feel like you guys do deserve some transparency that EA has addressed the problem and has put out this statement. So thank you. But I think that does it, unless you had random sports news.
I did not.
Well, I think that does it for us this week. If you enjoyed the rants, let us know. If you agree, disagree. Do you play EA Sports? Anything? College football, Madden, FIFA? Let me know. Let me know how you feel about these changes, because I'm pretty pissed off. I know a lot of other people are. So if you do play those games, let us know. If there's any other games that you play that you're annoyed about, let us know. If there's any sports-related things, let us know. We don't really care.
Just come talk to us.
But beyond that, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, check out the TikTok, where I think these will be going.
Yep.
Not sure.
Yep.
If we're on YouTube or TikTok this week. But go check it out anyway.
Should be on both. Should be on both.
Should be on both. Go check it out anyway. We do post the shorter clips on there. So if you don't want to sit through the 2 hour and you just want to find a specific section, that's the place to do it. But thank you all for joining. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
And this has been Floxing Sports Podcast. Thank you.